Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to this session. This is a Q&A session and I've decided to conduct these sessions especially when I come across a question that can help the collective or a comment that can help the collective by making that person understand. I feel other people can also benefit hugely from this because in the collective we have so many prototypes who are going through similar types of situations and simulations, and via these people who are projecting something, some reality in the outside world. Actually, reality is a mirror. Whatever we see in the mirror needs an object, right? Only then it can reflect an image. So whatever the mirror sees, the mirror is going to reflect that. So if you're seeing something in the mirror that you don't like, fighting with the mirror, getting upset with the mirror, trying to change something in the mirror will never help. Because the problem is never in the mirror in the first place. Problem is in the image. And the image needs to be fixed. The image needs to be changed. And the reflection will have no other option but to show you whatever image you are showing in front of it. So here is a question. I am okay at handling all of this. What does do getting on my nerves? It probably means what gets on my nerves is the intense and not normal heat inside of my flat on the top floor. And I do suspect the neighbors got the heating on purpose. Plus, fridge is not normal as it is like radiators. And he asked, like, what is up with that? My reply is, the heat is coming from within. And this comment actually came on a post that I had shared, which talks about highly sensitive people and empaths need to recharge daily. If they don't, they will experience anger, sensory overload, physical and emotional burnout, and anxiety. And I think this post has probably triggered this comment. And I actually created this channel that you're watching right now simply because I felt that yes, people do need a daily recharge. And I've also been recharging myself every day. The days that I don't, I know something is missing. And everybody has different ways of recharging. But if you come across content that matches with your situation and it's uplifting content or it puts you into a question mode or it makes you think about your situation, sometimes it can work wonders. So when I read this comment, I thought about, actually it reminded me of all those situations where the problem or the healing was supposed to be done internally and not externally. And the neighbors around us, the people around us, family members around us, they've got a lot of access to us, access to our energy. So usually we find these triggers in places surrounding us. So what happened was, interestingly, once I was living in my house peacefully, but I was not so peaceful. So I'm sharing my personal experience, and I hope my intention is that it helps other people also. So I was living in my life peacefully. I thought I was, and I was going through a couple of things, couple of situations, and they were bothering me. But I was not healing those issues. I was not working on them the way I should have worked on them. I was just ignoring, ignoring, ignoring. And I think when we actually ignore a lot of things in our reality or some issues in our reality, then they are literally on our face. And then there is no way to escape from it or run away from it. So, yeah, everything was going smooth. Suddenly, I find out that the people who lived, my neighbors, my closest neighbors, were moving out. And these people I really liked. I mean, they were really peaceful. Shh, Kalu, Kalu, गुंडागर्दी नहीं करते बेटा. So those people were like really peaceful and happy. I liked their vibe. They would play devotional songs every morning. And I never heard any noises from their house. Like one or two things were there, but I never heard any noises from their house. And it's like a very neutral family. They don't mind anybody's business. They don't talk to anyone. They are not happy or chirpy, like over happy, over chirpy, chit chatting, gossiping. And I'm also like that. I just like to be in my own world I don't like to make friends with people around me unnecessarily, or I don't like to just go and unnecessarily gossip about people or do all the negative things, like people do, troubling others, unnecessarily acting like goons. So I was like, no, this is not nice. These people should not move out, not leave this house. But they had to, and I did have a chat with them. So, when you have like minded people, then you get friendly automatically. You don't have to make any effort, it's very organic. So, because they have similar energy, we get along very well. Every time we meet, then yeah, we talk a lot. If we meet randomly also in a park or just walking somewhere and we bump into each other, we're going to have a long conversation if we have that much time, and if we don't, then also it's okay. So most of the conversations are surrounding spiritual ascension only. So imagine, wherever I lived, I never thought that I would actually have spiritual ascension based conversations with anyone, but with this lady I used to. And when they were leaving, the whole family was leaving, I was a bit like, they should not have gone and blah blah blah. So I went to talk to them, but they said that whatever the situation is, it's not in our control. They were also sad going away from there, but fortunately they were not going too far. Eventually some new people came in over there. I'm not saying those new people were also bad. They were not bad, but they were very noisy. They were so noisy. I'd never come across a family which is that noisy. Yes, I have lived around noisy people, but this was some next level of noisiness. And there was something that I had not healed. They were bringing that out because the masculine feminine communication over there was quite toxic. There was a lot of love, no doubt. There was love. I could feel that there was love and there was respect and there was care and concern. But something was always there, like the drunken fights were there. And my study table was literally placed at a certain location in the house where I could actually hear everything. So it was like, when you have good imagination, it was like watching a TV show, a 24/7 live TV show. Sometimes I even heard things about me, though they were not so bad, but I knew that, first of all, these people are unfiltered. So it was not overall, I'm not saying it was a completely negative situation, but yes, there was some elements about that family, about those people, that reminded me of some elements within me that needed healing for sure, for sure. And so I sat down and I started jotting down all those things that were triggering me. And I work as a healer and therapist for other people also, but I also work on myself regularly. Yes. And this kind of also gives me a lot of feedback from my own self. New things I learn, new things, I can help people with. And I try something at least 6, 7 times, because you don't get that much window of opportunity. Once I heal something, usually it doesn't come back. It's that fast track, and it really is very effective, the tools and techniques. So that's the time I realized that all of the disturbance that was happening in the house, maybe sometimes the water would start leaking, sometimes the construction noise would trouble me, sometimes something or the other would keep happening over and over again, and the same problems, the same annoying problems. And one of the problem went on for a couple of months, and it was not like I had to blame the people who were living near me, but the situations were such. It was, of course, time of internal healing, internal confusion, some battle, but it was being projected in the external reality. Interestingly, when I started working on those areas, whichever were triggering me, and I started putting them down and I started doing daily therapy for it, you won't believe what happened. I mean, all those people moved out. All those people. Not just one family or two, all of them. And those who came in exchange of them, or you can say in place of them, were very similar to the previous people, you know. Not that the previous people had gone away anywhere, they were also around, nearby, but not in the same place. But these new people, this time they were even more quieter, even more non-communicative, even more, like I don't even know their faces. I've never even seen them. They have children, they have like families, like there are lots of people. I can know that much, but I never hear a single word. I never heard a single word. And I was like stunned with that piece of information. And the movement and the shifting, it was literally the timing was kind of strange because it all started changing as soon as I found the problem, as soon as I really went deep into it, and I witnessed it unfold, unravel, the memories that were connected to it. Yes, there were some really intense childhood memories which I had totally forgotten about. I had totally forgotten about those childhood memories. But because of the drama, because you're still a child in many ways, and when I would overhear those conversations or those fights, those intense situations, things were being thrown, I could hear, I was like, first of all, very protective. But then those people were also very nice and they were very warm and they had accepted the situation. Like they had accepted their addictions or they had accepted that this is the right way to vent out frustration. And everything was okay in the daytime or everything was okay overall, but it was connected to me in some way. And I'm sure something about people like us, people like me, because a couple of people, in fact the number of people like me who don't mind anybody's business is actually high. And trust me, there was a time when it was the opposite. So I've seen phases. There was a time, the house I lived in for a very long time, it was literally surrounded by so many people. Like the whole building was full of people who knew each other, who was going into each other's house. They were doing kitty parties. Yes, I was witnessing all of that, and I was always disturbed because I'm not that social. I've never been a social person. If I'm social, it's probably because of work, it was probably because of some reason. It has to be some reason, naturally it was happening. But that type of closeness usually leads to a lot of gossip because you don't have a connection with those people. You're just doing it. Most people are doing it, not you, but most people are doing it because they are getting bored. They want to fit in. I mean, that's how they live their lives. That's how they do it. And when I healed certain parts, which were connected to my childhood, where I did not like the noisy neighbors or interfering aunties or gossiping relatives or just people misusing their authority or people just pretending to be really good Samaritans, but they were not. Certain things used to irk me a lot, especially the interference, especially that CCTV camera kind of personality some people have. They always are questioning and they're always wondering who's living in that house, how many people live over there, who are those people, what jobs do they do, how much they earn, what do they do for a living. They're constantly thinking about other people, but they don't know much about themselves. Their own lives are not very organized and they don't have much peace in their life. So if Hassan asked me this question, if you are going through this situation, where you feel like there's a lot of disturbance just coming from your closest house, the top floor for you, then you have to look for what is the actual trigger. You have to work on that trigger. And usually, when the trigger is gone, you'll not face that problem again. So, that example that I was giving you is when I was living with all these noisy people, not noisy, those were noisy plus interfering plus judgmental, plus they would say all sorts of things to me also. Like if I would be just doing something nice in life, they would just say, why don't you get married and why don't you do this? Or why do you have to feed the animals? Why are you spending all your hard earned money? Imagine these people are not even my relatives, they're not our close friends. They've got no business telling me none of the things that they would say. They would ask me about my income, they would ask me about my job, and they would really get triggered when I would say anything nice to them. Like if I would share with them, me being me, I would share something nice about my life, something good going on with me, they would not be happy at all. And then I started thinking, why am I even talking to them? Like, why do I have to greet these people? Or, I just started detaching because obviously they were connected with me due to my family, or in this case of course it's the building or the location, or just people being neighbors. So some things happen. in the neighborhood also, and you're probably getting to know about it. And you won't believe, when I healed all of that, one by one, the whole building became empty. I was the only person at one time, I was the only person living in that house, in that building. All other flats and apartments were empty. It was shocking. It was shocking. I was shocked. And then anybody who came in near me, sometimes people would come and then they would leave again. They were very nice, and everything kind of matched. And if there was any disturbance, immediately I would write it down. I would put it on a piece of paper. And after a point, I realized that every time there is a disturbance around me where I live, I need to heal that. I need to work on that. So it's actually a great way of looking for stimuli, because sometimes people also, they are just reflecting what we need to work on. They may be completely nonchalant towards you after you've solved the issue, after you don't care about it. Like, you'll come across people who don't care about your existence either. Like, it won't really affect you. And when I moved out from that place, I still remember that place. That whole building was still half empty for a while, for a long time. Like, I could see that building from wherever I moved. I was like, it is still empty. Like, 7 months, 8 months have passed. I've left that place because a big change was happening in the vibration. So probably God decided that this place should get healed, and not that negativity is not there. Negativity is everywhere. But when we heal, when we move into a higher frequency, that negative situation is one of the options. It's one of the window, one of the doors that you can enter. But you're not going to see that door or that window or that option because you're vibrating really high. You're somewhere else. And in that world, that option is too invisible for you. It's actually not even there in a way, unless you really look for it and you want to get into that situation or that negativity. And I also know by experience that once you move on and you become a better version of yourself, a newer version of yourself, then going back to who you were is not only impossible sometimes, but it's something you would not even want to do. And you know why so many people get irritated when they are back in some old pattern or some loop? Is because it may not have been that, it may have been intense last time, but once you heal from it, maybe 50% of the intensity is gone. And now, when a pattern repeats itself, that 50% intensity is also annoying. You don't want to experience the similar stressful feeling again. So, yes, my suggestion to you is that think about what is troubling you right now. It's not just the heat, it's not just the intensity of the heat, it's not just the people intentionally doing something to you. It is something else that you need to heal. And yes, you guys can work with me. You can work with me, you can get into a single therapy session, or you can get into a complete course, and you can also get into an energy reading with me. I use intuitive tools and spiritual modalities to help people out. So kindly do not share anything with me in advance. Only when we have the schedule, only when I start talking to you, please, then that's the time I'll start asking questions. And then once we start, it's kind of simple. But before that, don't share anything because I use intuitive tools. So you can be in any part of the world. Literally, it works wonders. Actually, it's very wonderful. And I thank my masters, my three masters, for it. And I want to thank all the other guides also who are connected with me on this journey, on this ascension journey, because they help and they support, and these gifts are given by the masters. So distant energy healing is something which I find to be very, very interesting, because I feel personally that everybody is a universe in their own way. In their own world, they are the center of that universe. They are the earth, and then there are all the nine planets and the galaxies. So when you heal something within you, you actually heal your universe. So distant energy healing is literally like, I can help you heal your problem. At the end of the day, whether you heal it fully or not is up to you. Some people are really good at doing the work that I help them with, and they heal very fast. Some people take time because they are still kind of stubborn and they want to hold on to the traumas, and they want to hold it all and not let it go. Sometimes they let it go, but very little, little by little, because they feel a familiarity. They feel this is the pain. I know this pain. I don't want to go into unknown. That's how some people feel. They're so scared of stepping into, venturing into the unknown. They say, no, this familiar traumatic place or this toxic environment, I know this at least, I'm aware about it for last 30, 40 years. This is what I've been doing. 20 years I've been doing this. So it's okay. I'm comfortable here. Of course, they're not comfortable, which is the reason why they're doing all the inner work. But letting go for them is not easy. So this is where surrender as a stage comes into play. Surrender is not just about you are letting go of all the control and you're not going to be doing anything at all. Of course, there is inspired action and that plays out. But surrender is more like letting go of that unhealed version of you that stops you from becoming a better version of yourself. Like it's like your own unhealed version is coming in between your growth and progress. That is what we need to let go. And then we also need to let go and have faith. Like everything is going to be okay. The more we say that everything is okay, everything is good, everything is fine. Thank you so much. We say thank you to God. We think about all the good things we have, think about all the new good things we have, or the old good things we have. I mean, we can change our energy, we can shift our energy on the same day, we can do it. But if you're not able to do it by yourself, you can always get into a hand holding session with me. All the details are given in the description box. Yes, and that's all for now. And any interesting question I see, I will try to cover it up. Thank you so much for being here. One love, peace out, and victory to round.